What is up, everyone? Hey, how's it going? Say hello to the people.
Can I say one of those? Hey.
Yeah, give me one of those heys.
That's fun.
Folks, we got a special guest today. Goat Connor is a celebrity or whatever, and he's touring the country doing stand-up. Kind of lame, if you ask me. But either way, we got my own brother, MM, as he's chosen to go by. What would you like the people to call you?
MM is cool.
Eminem?
Yeah. Squidgetron
5000.
Yeah,
You're a world-renowned DJ.
yeah, world-renowned.
World-renowned. You've done events.
Yeah, I've done one event that I hosted, but I was on the stage.
Killed
which was
it.
tight.
Crushed it. It was for a good cause too.
It's fun.
But this is my brother, DJ Kiss the Homies, Eminem, Squidgetron 5000, and he's here to open the show with me. And he's going to talk some NHL hockey for the pod as well. But yeah, how are we doing? You're recently a father. Let's just do a quick interview about who you are. I think that people would like to know who my sibling is.
These little feet. I got a squirmy little nugget on me. I will say, like, I feel like, you guys called me that one time on the podcast, and I was cooking dinner, and she was like 6 weeks old. I mean, she's only 8 weeks now, but like, she's 6 weeks old. She's screaming in the background. I'm making dinner. I'm not good at making dinner, so I was already stressed. Then your girl's like, "Hey, here's a live audience. What do you know about the NHL?" And I was like, "I like the Dallas Stars." And I feel like then you called Alex, and Alex is, he has no problem just saying things.
He did a great job.
He just says things sometimes.
He put you on the hot seat, though. He did, because it sounded very convincing. Everything he said. He can, if he didn't know what he was talking about, he had me fooled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I felt like I kind of had to redeem myself. So this is me trying to do that. We'll see if it actually works.
Well, hey, the best ability is availability, and you're here right now. So
and plausible deniability.
Plausible deniability is a great ability as well. Yeah. Top three abilities: availability. Or plausible deniability maybe goes 1-1. Availability goes 2.
And then flight is number 3.
Flight would be cool. I was going to say this ability to throw these hands.
Oh, sick.
I was going to, yeah.
I like flight.
Flight would be a cool ability.
Flight would be a cool ability.
Yeah, we might have to rethink this ability draft. Disability, probably pretty low.
Yeah.
Probably going 7th round.
Pretty tough.
Disabilities. Oh, my goodness. Well, shoot. Tell me your favorite thing about being a father.
Actually, I sent you a video the other day, or I guess Allie did. But one of my party tricks is that I can do it again, Steely Dan guitar solo by mouth.
Okay.
Like I know the whole thing, which is kind of like a yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And like I've done it to her, like I do it like 3 or 4 times a week. And the other day, I was doing it to her, and she was like reacting to it, and I could tell she started to appreciate how cool it was. That has been like, honestly, it was on my birthday, and it was like the best birthday present of all time. Which sounds cheesy, but I'm like, yeah, you understand how cool it is that I know the solo, I know all of it,
dude. Having your infant daughter develop an appreciation for Steely Daniel at the ripe age of 8 weeks old is pretty cool. That'd probably be the best birthday present I'd ever had. But yeah, step one, have a daughter. Sick. So
that and like, I don't know, like I have also something clicked when she was born, and now I just can't stop thoroughly enjoying history documentaries. Like I watched all of World War II in color like 2 weeks ago.
Hell yeah, that rules.
And I watched this like sick Black Hawk Down documentary. Like
Your
a lot of like
now.
Military and history stuff. I just like, I'm like, oh, Allie, look at this. Like, look what's on Netflix. And she's like, okay. But I love it.
That's sick. You're becoming a dad.
Yeah. Also, Born to Bowl on HBO Max. It's
Born to what?
Born to Bowl. BOWL.
Okay.
It's like Hard Knocks, but for bowling.
Ooh.
It's sick, dude. It's really good.
I might have to get on when sports end. I got to get on that because right now I'm just like watching every single playoff basketball game, trying to keep up with the stars, taking care of my child right here.
I thought you were flexing and you were being like,
yeah, just lifting at so much weight.
Oh, yeah,
oh man, well, dude, that's it.
It's 5 episodes. It's like really, and they're all 20 minutes.
Well, that sounds like it rips, and that kind of leads me into thinking about other things that rip. But my thing that rips for today is saying, "Is this thing on?" whenever a joke doesn't land. It's so funny. Like, to people in front of me, on a phone call, in an Xbox party, like, if you say a joke and no one laughs, you say, "Is this thing on? Hello?"
That's good.
It's fantastic.
I'm gonna steal that.
Do it. Oh, please do. It's awesome. It's so funny. It's and I do it relentlessly too. I will do it like if I'm playing video games with my friends, I will do it like 6 times in the span of like one gaming session, like a few hours or so.
Yeah, that makes sense because you say a lot of not funny stuff.
I do.
When you play video games.
I'm a volume shooter, man. Like Kobe. Like, you don't get the best out of me unless I'm allowed to just shoot. So
you also like to say "back to the well" a lot, which is interesting because that's kind of going back to the well.
Like, it is. It is, dude. One of the funniest things ever was at the baby shower when there's just like an old guy. And whenever an old guy gets like a group of people laughing, like 50s to like 70-year-old man, if they get a group of people laughing, they will go back to the well. And someone made, I forget who, it might have been Bobby, it might have been our dad, but someone made a joke and it made everyone laugh, like saying it in front of everyone. And then like, just when I'm like going back to the well, like as soon as he would do it again, I just look at you and I didn't have to say anything. Just going back to the well, man.
That's good. Those are both. Those are. Is this thing on? Definitely does rip, and I'm going to rip that.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Mine actually, I just thought of it. I don't know why I thought of it, but I work in corporate America. I work for a tech company, and our team every quarter gets like a budget for like fun, and it's like $100-$200 a person. And like typically it's like, oh, let's go to dinner, or like let's like hire a virtual magician or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I was talking to my boss today, and I was jokingly like, why don't we just throw in the S&P and like make some money off of it? And then we came up with the idea of everybody either taking that money and like collectively running a brokerage account and see how much money we can make on it. Like we all like do research, and like once a month or so we like try to make money off of it.
Yeah.
Or everybody gets their split portion of it, and we have a race to see who can make the most money over quarter over quarter.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's very fun. I think like one brain would probably yield the best results of just like putting it all in one place.
Yeah.
But it is more fun for it to be a competition of like who can make the most money. That's what capitalism was built on. It's competition.
Exactly.
So that might, and then like at the end of the year, imagine just doing like a crazy blowout party with all the money you made. Like even if it's just like the straight $200 from 12 months.
Yeah.
Like just doing like, hey, we're all going to like on a trip, even if you can do something with it. But
yeah, dude,
that's awesome.
It's like, I don't know. After saying it, it's like when you compare doing that to like Zoom magician making money on, like even throw it in, give everybody $200 and like do it on Kalshi, and then we can all just see who can make the most money on Kalshi.
Yeah, no free ads. So a sports book,
trade the world type,
a prediction market.
Yes, exactly.
I've read the fine print. I've done work for them, so. They're like, don't say it's not gambling. You're not betting anything. It's a you're simply you're buying stock in a prediction that might happen. I'm like, okay. Sick. It's not gambling, but yeah, either way. Hell yeah, dude. Well,
I was gonna say the guitar solo from Do It Again on Steely Dan. That was gonna be my original thing just because it does rip, but then we told that story, so I had to pivot.
Well, that's fine. I think that rips too. That's such a cool, like, for people that work in like the corporate world, they're going to be like, that's awesome. And kids that are listening that are in like high school or college are just going to be like, that's the lamest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. And that's okay. Because one day they'll be
Or
like, that
maybe
is
they'll be
sick. One
maybe
day
they'll be
they'll have an
inspired.
office job and they'll look back and think, wow, that was actually super cool. I wish we did something like that.
You know, I did. So I ran one of these things before. Like I was in charge of planning it, and like the best you can do is like, all right, let's like order everybody a terrarium set and like have them build terrariums. Like that's the kind of stuff you can spend the money on. I was gonna do that. I was gonna learn how to build a terrarium and then teach everybody how to build a terrarium. And then like I was like, that's too much work. I don't know anything about terrariums. I started looking into it, it was a lot.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, I found something last minute that was like this virtual escape room, more or less, where we solved an ancient Egyptian murder with puzzles and clues.
Nice.
And after it was, after it finished, like they sent out a survey, like, because it's led by somebody. They're like, hey, how do we do? And every single person is like 5 stars. That was fun, whatever. Because we have been working long enough to know how good we got it.
Yeah.
There was one person that sent a review back of 2 stars. Said I didn't really get it. Not usually the kind of puzzles I like to solve. It was our college age intern who was just not impressed because he didn't understand. This is as good as it gets, brother.
Yeah.
This is the most fun we're gonna have.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, actually, it was not as interactive as I thought it would be. It's like, hey, any sort of interactive, like, hey, that's fantastic. I worked an office job for, I don't know, like a year, and we never did anything fun. Actually, I quit my first job because they wanted people to start coming in and helping out in the warehouse, and I was a video editor.
Yeah, that's
That was the
enough.
most fun thing we did.
Did you get your forklift certification?
I wish that would have been fun. That would have been really
Yeah,
cool. I bet college age intern would have been like, that was sick.
yeah,
If
yeah.
you imagine, if you should take your budget and just get everyone forklift certified.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, that'd be
Well, I'll
sick.
take the money I went a off a prediction market
Yeah,
and
not
then buy.
gambling though.
Yeah, not gambling.
No, it's not gambling. All right. Speaking of forklifts, who's going to rise above everyone else? You like that? Yeah.
I
In these
do.
NHL playoffs.
So I was thinking, like I said, I felt like I had to kind of redeem myself, and I was like, what'd be like an
Mm-hmm.
interesting thing to talk about? I'm not like I'm an avid NHL fan. I'm like diehard, cry once a year when we get knocked out of the playoffs. Stars fan, like played hockey for so long, but like the NHL playoffs is my favorite time of year. And in thinking like I think it's partially interesting to me because I'm familiar with a lot of the storylines that are going on with teams and like what makes them interesting. Why are they fun to watch, or like why are these matchups fun to watch? That I
Yeah.
think that like not a lot of people are as familiar. So I was like, okay, let me like see if I can like put together like a like who to pull for, and I'm not that I'm trying to convince anybody who to pull for, but just kind of like trying to paint the picture of some of the
Perfect.
teams that are in the playoffs,
Beautiful.
so that like people are like, okay, I like that, or that speaks to me.
Yeah. Hell
So
yeah. Rip it.
so, and I will caveat this with I'm like way more familiar with the Western Conference than I am the Eastern Conference.
Fair.
But I'm just gonna go down the line. So, and I only included teams that are still in the playoffs because the first round is still happening. There have been two sweeps. Um, Colorado Avalanche knocked out the LA Kings, and the Carolina Hurricanes knocked out the Ottawa Senators. So at this point in time, this the Senators and the LA Kings are not on this list because they're irrelevant because
Okay.
they're gone. So the first team, I guess we can talk about Colorado, um, the Cup favorite. So Colorado is interesting because they have been a Cup favorite for years, and they won the Cup a few years ago, right? Which is not easy to do. I the Stanley Cup, to those who watch, is known as the hardest trophy to win in sports.
Agreed.
It's like 2 months of grueling physical, like extremely physical, fast, intense games. Like if you have to win 4 series, which let's say they all go 7 games, which is not super likely, but it's not impossible. You have to win 28 games to win the Stanley Cup. I guess you have to play 28 games, you
28
have to win
games.
16.
Yeah.
Colorado has been like at the forefront of every prediction market, probably going to win the Stanley Cup for the past however many years. And this year especially because I think they're one of like 3 or 4 teams in NHL history to go like their first 20 games without a regulation loss.
Oh, wow.
They have arguably the best player, if not the second best player in the world, in Nathan MacKinnon.
Yep.
Um, uh, which I don't know why I'm blanking on his cool nickname. The Nate Train,
the McKinster.
the McKinster, the Nate Train, Nate
The,
Dog, Mac Daddy. They have probably like top either number 1 or number 2 defenseman in the world in Cale Makar.
mm-hmm.
And they have like an all-star supporting cast, and a lot of them took pay cuts and like gave money back so they could stay on the team and win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
They have American hero Brock Nelson, U.S. Olympic hockey winner. They have Marty Necas. They have Brent Burns, who's like veteran. Not like Brent Burns is a top tier player.
Yeah, I remember when he was like dominant in San Jose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Big no teeth guy.
Like their roster's insane, and it's insane because the players are all willing to take pay cuts to try to win a Stanley Cup.
Kind of like
number
Florida
1.
last year.
Yes.
Which, how are they bad? I don't want to derail you completely, but
dude, I don't know. I mean, Barkov, I think, was injured. Their captain was injured for like the whole year.
okay.
And like, I think leadership in a hockey locker room changes things a lot.
Mm.
And not to say that he's still in the locker room, right? But it's not the same. I don't know too much about why Florida is not as good this year. Kachuk was also out for a lot of the season.
Yeah.
They lost some guys.
Anyways.
I'm really sure. Anyways, the other big piece about Colorado is their goaltending duo, tandem, as they say,
mm-hmm.
Mackenzie Blackwood and Scott Wedgwood, both historically backup goalies. And also, like, goaltending has been the problem for Colorado in the past couple of years. Not that it was a problem, it just, like, in the playoffs, it's got to be top tier. Like, you need goalies to steal games.
Yeah, I feel like they're usually flip-flopping.
Yeah.
Like they usually have 2 goalies.
Scott Wedgwood is playing out of his mind. Mackenzie Blackwood, who's also, like, just an awesome, like, farm – like, he's a Canadian farm boy who doesn't have any front teeth, which is
for
not
a
common
goalie.
for goalies because they're wearing a face mask.
Uh-huh.
But he's just like a good – they're both like – you want to pull for a goalie that's like very wholesome. And I think they both like designed their own goalie masks together, and they're like Mario themed. So one of them has like Princess Peach on it, and the other one has like the
Daisy. Yeah.
And goalies are crazy, so that's like not like super insane that they would have that. But
yeah.
Colorado has all the pieces. They're like the front runner. They have like their home crowd is awesome. And I think a big piece for them is probably like, I guess they have historically lost to the Dallas Stars in the playoffs over the past couple of years. And like Dallas is currently down 3-2 against Minnesota. So they may not have to like fight their demons.
Yeah.
So that's the Colorado story.
Okay. Love it.
Next I'll do Dallas and Minnesota. So Dallas has been like another team that's been really close for so many years. We've made the Western Conference Finals like 3 years in a row. Lost to Vegas, lost to Edmonton twice, so they're ghosts there. But they have a lot of pieces, but they're also dealing with 2 big injuries, and they've just been dealing with injuries all season, and I think it's kind of messed up the chemistry a little bit. Currently, Tyler Seguin has been out. He's like a big locker room guy for the team, and then he's also he's just a gamer.
He is.
Even though he's like a bit older, I think he's like 33 or 34 for NHL. That's old.
Keep going. I have to deal with my cat that's meowing. Just give me 1 second, but keep going.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Sorry.
All good. Tyler Seguin, gamer. He's been out for the majority of the season. Rupe Hentz, like a top line guy. top line center, which is important for faceoffs, also out. Um, so injuries have kind of plagued them, especially like not only this season but in the playoffs as well.
Yeah.
Jake Ottinger, very likable goalie, also known as Otter. Used to have a cute little otter on his mask. Now he's got Ottzilla, like scary Godzilla version of an otter. Um, from Minnesota, like American, like he should have played in the Olympics, but somehow he got.
I mean,
Uh,
Hellebuck was incredible.
Hellebuck was
That
was
was,
should have been
yeah.
the guy, but they played Swayman in front of Otter, who I'm not really sure why that decision was made, but I think Swayman might have been hot at the time. But
Yeah. Never know.
Otter, all-time
Never know what's
goalie,
happening behind closed doors.
exactly. I think something that's cool about Dallas is their head coach Glenn Gulletson um, used to be the coach of the Stars in a slump of Dallas Stars history. Went and was he? I think he had a couple head coach jobs. It didn't go great, and then he ended up becoming an assistant coach. Most recently to Edmonton, who has been the Stars' demon the past 2 years in the Western
Mm-hmm.
Conference Finals. And it seems I don't really like a very specific hire. Like we can't beat this one team in the playoffs, so we're gonna hire the guy that like knows the system. I don't
Yeah.
like that's what a lot of people were saying. I think he's just like a guy who tried to be a head coach, didn't work out, got some experience, and now he's like doing the head coach thing for real. He looks like an evil villain, which is cool. He's jacked, which we a lot of our
I didn't
coaches
know he was
recently
jacked.
old guys. Oh yeah, dude, he's ripped. Um, and his like when he got the job, he gave this press conference that was like awesome and very clearly showed that like he understood what this team needed, like what was missing from the team. So that's cool. And then you have our captain Jamie Benn, who is like probably one of the most hated players in the league by other teams' fans. Like
Yes.
if you're a fan of any team other than the Dallas Stars, you hate Jamie Benn, which is
Correct.
typically a guy you like to have on your team.
Yeah, it's like Dylan Brooks in the NBA, and I don't know if that reference will make any sense to you, but like just a guy that when he's on your team, you're like this guy rules. If he's on the other team, you're like I hate this guy with all of my heart. He's a villain
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Yeah. And I think like I get the sense that Ben is like respected by other NHL players,
Mm-hmm.
um, but like other teams' fans just hate him, and he like
He earns
he's
it.
yeah
He earns
100%,
it.
and
Yeah, he's
he's
a heel.
frustrating as a fan of the Stars to watch when he takes a last second penalty or like it's very clear that he's like getting older, but he's
Yeah.
he's kind of a dog in as far as like what you want your captain to be is a guy
Mm-hmm.
who just like is not going to take shit, is going to like defend the younger guys, and like whenever he scores a goal, no smile. He's only smiling when the younger guys on his team are scoring.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it. I want to think of like a historic. I want to think of an entity to describe each team as we go through too. I'd say like Colorado feels like you've been watching World War II stuff, like you said.
Yeah.
Colorado feels kind of like the Soviets in World War One, like they're due.
Okay.
Like this is the big power that everyone's afraid of.
Yes.
You're hoping that everyone else can chip away enough to take
Yes.
down Stalin's regime and
Yes.
whatnot. Okay, and then the Stars are probably like the Stars. The Stars remind me of like and I'm not biased at all, but the Stars are probably kind of like a like an American Revolution. Like the the Americans. We're the good guys,
I like
and
that.
everyone else is trying to hold us down with taxes and whatnot.
Totally.
That's good.
Can you keep doing this for me because I didn't do that, and
Yeah,
this is a
that's
good.
fine. That'll be my contribution to
Okay.
this.
I will say, and I know these are a bit long winded, so if you need me to pick it up, let me
No,
know.
you're good. You're good, man. We got a long show here, so
Another thing is Daryl Razor. That is a reason in and of itself to pull for the Stars. Best commentator in the entire league.
true.
He has like some of his colloquialisms are like he's described to play as like poop going through a diarrhea infected goose.
All timer.
Ben, I think like either he described something as double penetration one time. I think when Jamie Benn split the defense, he calls it double penetration. He'll say things like, second mouse always gets the cheese, or sometimes the third mouse gets the cheese.
The Razorisms are fantastic. I remember I've used this before. If people listen to this, I don't watch my videos. I've described guys as a dainty barbarian before. And actually, Razor used that to describe Jamie Benn. The dainty barbarian.
The best vocabulary, and like he's a wordsmith. He's the Action Bronson of NHL commentators.
I think of just broadcasting in general. Sure. I think you can give him that badge. I don't know if anyone is as quick and as unique as Razor is, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And he's like just so clearly so much prep gone into each game. Like you watch a national broadcast and you're like getting very surface level commentary, and like the commentary he's doing and the stats that he's pulling and the storylines he's putting out are like, they make almost every play interesting because of something that he's like prepped on.
Nice. Okay.
Last thing, Dallas Stars goal song is like the best goal song.
It was a song written by Pantera.
Yes, for the
Dallas Stars to be their goal song.
Mm-hmm. So that's
no one's ever done it before. No one like the Dallas Stars, man. No one quite like them.
Yeah,
it's time. I think it's.
But we're not homers or anything.
We're not. And after last game, I feel pretty dejected about the Stars, but I don't know. This conversation's got me feeling like, I think people were saying the same thing about the United States of America back in 1776.
Yes, they were.
People were saying very similar things.
Yes. Okay, so next is the Dallas Stars matchup. So Dallas also, it's important to note that Dallas is finished, I think, number 3 in the regular season, and I want to say Minnesota finished 4 or 5. So this is like a very strong first round matchup that a lot of people are pissed about the playoff format because of it's like divisions essentially play each other. So it's like a 2 and a 3 in a division rather than like a 2 playing a
you don't get the 1-8 for those that aren't familiar with hockey. It's not like 1-8 from each side. There's 6 divisions total?
4.
4 divisions total. And the first matchup is between 2 and 3 in each division. So like you're going to see the same teams pretty much every year until they're not good anymore or you're not good anymore.
Yep. Yeah. So it's interesting, but it also pisses a lot of people off because 2 Stanley Cup contenders are going to see each other in the first round and beat each other up and knock each other out.
Yeah.
So fun fact about Minnesota, they have had a first round exit the last 8 times they were in the playoffs, which is tough because they've had good teams. But they've always kind of had a missing piece. And Minnesota has recently, especially over the last 8 times they were in the playoffs, played a very rough and tough old school style of hockey in that they're very physical and they will just kind of wear you down. I used to be so annoyed when Dallas would play Minnesota in the first round because I'd be like, great, we're going to beat this team, but we're going to end up with 2 or 3 injuries by the time the series is over.
Yeah.
They're a different team now. They still are have that physical identity, but they are much faster. And they have picked up a quintessential piece of a puzzle, which is Quinn Hughes, one of the probably the best American defenseman in recent years, but definitely currently playing.
Yeah, and the best part about Quinn Hughes is that he looks like an illustration from a Diary of a Wimpy Kid book. He looks like a little like a memeing millennial in 2010 would describe him as derpy. I think is the best way to put it.
Well, there's this running joke, not only that, but he's always kind of got this 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah.
And they're always talking about Quinn's seeing ghosts. He just looks like this the whole time he's playing.
Yeah, he's just kind of out of it.
Yeah. But he's a huge pickup an all-star defenseman can change the feeling of a team. When you have a guy,
especially an offensively adept one.
Yeah, and he's a pass first defenseman, but which I love, but he's one of the smartest hockey players I've ever watched. His game knowledge is insane. He's an incredible skater, which is funny because in the Dallas Stars subreddit, you see guys are oh, Quinn Hughes fell twice this series, in pretty embarrassing fashion. They're like, he fell twice, must not be a great skater. And I'm like, guys, can we just, like, that's not that. No, you don't know what you're talking about. Quinn Hughes is an incredible skater. He is he quarterbacks their team. He's awesome. So Quinn Hughes is a big piece. Their goalie that's playing right now is Jesper Wallstedt, the Wall. Also Jesper, cool name.
Very cool name.
First playoff appearance ever, and I want to say I pulled up some stats here, but like his how do I see goaltenders? I don't know. His goals against average is 2, which is pretty low against a high offense team like Dallas. I don't remember what his save percentage is, but like impressive performance for a first time playoff appearance. What else I got here? Minnesota refers to themselves as the state of hockey, which so like I don't know, like Minnesota is a like probably the original hub of American hockey.
Yeah. And it's also interesting. They're playing the Stars, and the Stars came from Minnesota as the Minnesota North Stars. They moved the franchise to Dallas and then started a new team in Minnesota years later. But
yep.
There's always a little bit of sourness between Minnesota and Dallas for Dallas stealing the North Stars from them.
I would say it's a lot. Like, if there's two teams, like a lot of people don't like the Stars for whatever reason. Maybe it's Jamie Benn. Maybe it's like this weird like complex about having hockey in the South, similar to like Florida or Tampa Bay or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like if there are two fan groups that hate the Dallas Stars more than any other group of fans, it is the Minnesota Wild and the Colorado Avalanche. Probably Minnesota Wild number one because they're like, they took hockey from us. They took our hockey.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. So that is an important thing to call out.
I would say, and I just got this. If you have more on the Wild, you can let it rip. But I think the Minnesota Wild. I was
just going to say they're very fast, very fun to watch. Matt Boldy is disgusting.
Another American
hero.
Yeah.
And then there are the Foligno brothers, Marcus Foligno and Nick Foligno, both play on the team. I think it's always cool when brothers like play on the same team. There's just like an undeniable chemistry, even though one's a forward, one's a defenseman. Like, I don't know. I think it's cool when brothers are on the team.
Heck yeah. I think with all the indigenous hockey talk, I think we got to give the Minnesota Wild like the Native Americans in the battle between Cowboys and Indians.
Okay.
Because they're defending the birthright property against the people who are trying to steal it from them, which is Dallas. So
yeah. I mean, they're kind of like a team of Apaches. Like truly, like they're fast, they're ruthless. And I don't know, like Apache,
I like that.
Apache warriors, not just Apache.
No, just the people in general. They're very violent people, is what you're saying. I think.
No, I'm not.
Apache I think warriors. You were saying how you were just saying before we went live about how they all act this way. That's what you said to me. I'm just kidding.
I can't. No, I'm not saying that. Yeah,
you called them like savages or something, but we'll let it go.
No, I did not.
I do this to Connor as well, and he hates it. He gets very uncomfortable.
Okay, so that's Dallas, Minnesota.
Okay.
The next matchup I think is really cool because it's Vegas and Utah. And I remember Alex called Utah a pretender. I don't think so.
Interesting. We might have pulled that one out of him, but I don't know.
No, I did. The interesting thing about Vegas and Utah is they're both, kind of expansion teams, right? Mm-hmm. So Vegas, I want to say their first team was like 2018 or 2019, and it's like everybody thought it was kind of corny. Number one, because the owner of the team is a West Point guy, and if you know the mascot of West Point,
Golden
they're the Knights.
Yeah.
He's like, well, we're also black and gold, and we're also the Knights, which I think is corny.
Yes, correct.
Also, it's like in Vegas where there's like, I don't think Vegas has like a huge home crowd. It's more of like a show attraction kind of thing.
Yeah.
But because of their success in their first ever season, they went to the Stanley Cup Finals as an expansion team. All these guys that were like plucked went to the Stanley Cup Finals and they've like kind of gathered this like huge, not bandwagon following, but kind of feels like it because people are like, you got to earn it. and your first season you get to experience this. On the other side, they're playing the Utah Mammoth, which is I don't know if you call it an expansion team,
Yeah, they're an
but
expansion.
they moved from Arizona. Like somebody in
Oh,
Salt Lake City bought
that's right.
the
That's what it was.
the Arizona Coyotes and moved them to Utah, right?
Yeah.
And what's interesting about the flip side of the Vegas situation is in Utah, you have these guys that played for what was formerly known as the Arizona Coyotes, before that, the Phoenix Coyotes. But essentially, like, I think 21 of the guys on Utah played for the Coyotes, which is a big chunk of the
It's a
roster.
huge chunk of the
And
roster. Yeah.
the Coyotes
We're
were
dog
in
shit, right?
were they played in Glendale, and if something with like ticket sales or like they weren't very good, and so like I don't remember what exactly happened, but essentially they had the city of Glendale was like, we're done. You can't have this arena anymore, or they demolished the arena. Something happened where they're like, you can't play in your NHL arena. So
Yeah.
they moved them to Tempe, Arizona, where I think Arizona State is,
Uh-huh.
and the team was in the NHL were in talks with the city of Tempe to be like, okay, can we build an NHL arena here? In the meantime, we'll play in this college club hockey arena, which is I think the max capacity was
It's
like
like
5,000 or
yeah, I
something
remember
like that.
this. It was like 5 or 6,000.
And so like these guys are like playing in like they get screwed by the city, they get pushed to another city. They're like, you guys can have this little shitty arena. And then eventually the city says, nah, we're not, we don't want an arena here. We don't want it. So they get moved over to Salt Lake City with a new welcome fan base who is like, they have a crowd now that feels genuine because last year they weren't that good. Um, and all these guys like went through all this shit together and now they're in the playoffs. And I think it's just a very interesting dynamic between the
I
two
like that
teams.
storyline. That's really cool. It's funny. I think I saw Utah Mammoth and I was like, oh yeah, expansion team. But no, I forgot they're the Phoenix Coyotes or
Yeah.
Arizona Coyotes, whatever.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
probably the hardest throwback jerseys in any sport of all time is
Yeah.
the Coyotes with the half mask.
Yes.
Um,
100%, dude.
but man, I'm trying to think. Oh, man, I kind of they feel like the Revolutionary Americans,
Yeah,
but
kind of.
I might have to give them the South in the Civil War.
No, don't do that.
They've been through a lot. Some people are trying to take some things away from them. They lost everything. Maybe that's not a good one.
I don't think it's a good one. I think you're going down the wrong road.
Let me think here. Revolutionary War, Texas. Texas versus Mexico.
Okay.
That's it. They
That.
come and take it with the cannon on the flag. They've been through a lot together. They're about to capture Santa Ana in the Battle of San Jacinto. They're going to capture the hearts of who are they playing?
Vegas.
Vegas. They're going to kill Vegas. Vegas
Yeah.
is Mexico in that.
It's also important to know,
war.
like Vegas. I think it's a 2 and a 3 seed member. I don't remember what their seeding is, but like Vegas. Oh, this is kind of cool about Vegas. So, we talked about West Point guy, right? The owner.
Yeah.
So he has been like notoriously brutal with the coaches of the team, right? So Pete DeBoer took them. I think he was the head coach when they went to the Stanley Cup Finals.
I think it was
the
too.
Western Conference Finals, like a couple of years, which is like not easy to do. Well, ownership said, "Yeah, not good enough. Bye bye, Pete DeBoer." They hire Bruce Cassidy. Bruce Cassidy wins them a Stanley Cup. Then they make it to the second round, and then I want to say the following year, they make it another deep playoff run, and they're kind of like on the bubble for playoffs late in this season. So what does ownership do with 8 games left in the season? Bye bye, Bruce Cassidy. You're done. We're on the bubble. That's not good enough. And they hire John Tortorella, notorious
Angry
asshole
guy. Yeah.
NHL coach, just like a big dick. And I know that the line of thinking is like, this guy's an asshole. He's going to win us a championship. And in my mind, I'm like, you're not going to change anything. That's not going to change the trajectory. It's not going to do anything. Well, they win 8 straight going into the playoffs, and now they're playing, I would say, pretty damn well against a good Utah Mammoth team.
Wow.
I think they just took the lead in the series, actually.
So
It's tied to. They just tied it up, so it's tied
okay.
2-2.
Okay, interesting. Let's keep an eye on that one. Mexico versus Texas.
Yeah.
I like it. All right, who we got next?
We got Edmonton and Anaheim.
Lot of. This is a good storyline.
Yeah. Edmonton, Canadian team, one of the typically last remaining Canadian teams. They have the best player in the world, Connor McDavid. They made it to the Stanley Cup Finals 2 years in a row. Their problem has always been goaltending. They like to blame a lot of things on Stuart Skinner. Well, halfway through the year, they traded Stuart Skinner for another mediocre goalie. So we'll see if that changes anything. Edmonton is like so hot and cold. They're either like the best team you've ever seen, or they're going to let 7 goals be scored in a game.
Correct.
Which is what we're seeing in this series.
Yeah. And Anaheim is kind of like new money. Anaheim hasn't been good since like the mid 20 teens.
Yeah, like I think 2016 or 17.
Like the Getzlav, Corey Perry, Teemu Solani in his twilight years. All those guys kind of in their twilight years. But
they have a lot of young stars. Mm-hmm. Cutter Gauthier, Leo Carlson, Beckett Seneke. Like they have a lot of young stars, but then they also made some big trades for like some experienced vets. Like Radko Gudas. He was on either the Florida team that went to the finals and lost, or
I remember Gudas. Don't they have Granlund?
Yeah, they have
Michael Granlund.
Mikhail.
Mikhail.
Like they have a good combination of a solid young core and like experienced vets.
They make a little noise.
Yeah, and they're like, I don't know, they're like, Anaheim is just a fun team to root for. Great logo.
Yeah, so the Ducks.
Yeah, they're the Ducks. I quoted that today.
Classic. Any Mighty Ducks fans out there will get that one, or maybe they won't. That's such a like small part of that movie that we used to quote all the time.
Yeah. Yes, they're the Ducks.
Duck. Yes, they're the Ducks. The puck's flying right at him. What a goofball. What a silly movie. What a silly flick.
Yeah. So that's what I got for Edmonton and Anaheim.
Okay.
It's not a crazy storyline, but there's some interesting things happening.
Yeah, and I know, to add to that, I know Edmonton's whole like thing is like they're kind of in a dangerous dance here with Connor McDavid, because he has not been happy every time they've lost in the Stanley Cup final. Like he's just on like it feels like a hate tour of like, okay, I'm the best player in the world. I have to win a championship. And eventually if I can't do it here, I'm going to go. And I might, go to a team and I might pull a Kevin Durant and take less money to go join a better team, which is crazy because they are really good. They're a great team and they have a great supporting cast around him, but just hasn't been enough.
I don't know if like people like if he actually would leave though. That's the thing. Like I don't know if that's people spinning what he says or like trying to read too much into it, but like he signed I think only a 2-year extension, which in my opinion is a sign that it could go either way.
Yeah. Because if he really wanted to be out, he'd do like 1 year with the player option or something. Yeah. I don't know. Do they have player options in the NHL?
I don't know either.
Avery or not Avery. Olivia, I think so.
So that's that. You got an analogy for us?
Yeah, let me think here. I mean, you got your old money oppressor that actually hasn't done anything important, and then you have your new money team that's coming up, and brand new, plucky little underdog. I might not do a war here. I might go. This feels like the Clippers versus the Warriors in the first round of the playoffs in 2019.
I'll take your
take my word for
it.
Just
your judgment, yeah.
Except it's closer. The Clippers just took 1 game off the Warriors and it was awesome, and they lost 4-1 in the series. But
this series is currently 3-2. Anaheim is up. They had a chance to win last night.
Okay,
I think, and they couldn't close it out.
Okay,
so that's that. Okay, so now we are going into the Eastern Conference, which I'll have a lot less to say about, so it'll go by quicker.
Cool.
The first matchup is Buffalo-Boston. Buffalo coming out of a 14-year playoff drought. Again, similar to the Ducks, they have a good young core with vets that have experience, like
Mm-hmm.
Rasmus Dahlin. And Rasmus Dahlin is like a top tier defenseman. And like earlier this year, his wife had to have like heart transplant surgery,
Oh
so
my
like
gosh.
team kind of rallied around him for that, and like he had to miss some games. You have Tage Thompson, another American hero. Just like he's like the Jason Robertson of the East, where he's just kind of like
A
a
setup
goal
guy.
scorer.
Yeah.
They have Lindy Ruff as their head coach, who was the coach who took them to the Stanley Cup Finals in 1999, which is crazy.
Full circle again.
7 years later.
He coached the Stars too, and they lost to the Stars in '99.
Yes,
Fun fact for everyone.
yes. Something that's cool about the Sabres is essentially like the Buffalo Sabres version of Sabre Mafia, but they call themselves the Blade Gang, and it's like a bunch of Buffalo guys that dress up in full hockey pads and rollerblades, and then they just fight each other at the tailgates.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I've never heard of the Blade Gang. Why have I
Yeah,
never heard of that?
because they've been out of the playoffs for 14 years.
I guess
This is
so.
a new thing.
Okay, I love
Yeah,
it. Hell
yeah,
yeah. I've been seeing a lot of clips of Josh Allen getting really fired up about the Sabres.
yeah, dude.
There's like a video of it because he like hit the drum and then chugged a beer afterwards.
Okay.
I found like a video of him like talking, being like he's so nervous to do this. He's like, can I hit it like hard? Like, how many times should I hit it? And like, should I can I chug it? And they're like, sure, do whatever you want. He's like, oh gosh, he's like, I don't know what to do. He's so nervous. Like,
I would be the same way. I don't
yeah.
know why. You would not. You would go in there with like unmet confidence and be like, "This is what we're doing."
Hey, who knows? Who knows? Maybe I'll get there one day.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll get to beat the Dallas Stars drum. Maybe I'll get to dance with the Mavs Maniacs.
yeah, that'd be sick.
Isn't that such
Oh
an
man.
absurd idea of like, hey, you know how other places have like cheerleaders? We'll have cheerleaders, but we'll also have a bunch of overweight middle-aged men in crop tops doing like very suggestive dances.
It's genius.
It's very smart. And then we'll call them the Mavs Maniacs.
Yeah.
I remember I went to like a Mavs like fan event when I was really little with dad, and the Maniac. It's like meet the Mavs Maniacs, and I was terrified of them. It was just these massive men in like tasseled crop tops, or just their shirts off and their faces
it's
painted.
disturbing to look at.
I was
when you're like,
terrified. I was like 7. I was like, this is insane. Why would I want to meet the Mavs? They're maniacs. It's in the name. I want to talk to them. Oh man. But yeah, shout out Buffalo. I know I've seen a few get Tage Thompson the puck compilations of them just like finding any way to just give him the puck and let him shoot from anywhere. So that's kind of awesome.
there's a sick highlight of him from like 3 or 4 weeks ago, maybe even a couple months ago. But like it's on a power play, and like literally, I want to say it was like 4 back-to-back one-timers to Tage Thompson, where like
Yeah, I think that's a clip I
puck,
saw.
he takes a slap shot, and, like they regroup, they give it to him again, same thing, like over and over, like 4 times, dude.
Yeah, dude. Oh my gosh, that rules. He's just a human windmill. That's what he is.
Yeah. But he's a goal scorer.
Yeah, he is. What about Boston? What do we know about Boston?
So what I wrote was Charlie McAvoy. Charlie McAvoy is like probably like top tier defenseman, American hero,
Good.
on the USA
Good.
gold medal team. Jeremy Swayman is an interesting story. Another U.S. Olympic roster. He's our goalie.
That's right.
Kind of like I think supposedly a hothead. In that he in their last game, I want to say he had like 5 or 6 goals scored on him, and then he gets pulled obviously, and then there's a clip of him like yelling at his entire team on the bench. So that's interesting.
Angry goalie is always a funny watch.
Yeah.
It's like you can't be that angry with all those pads on.
Yeah.
Or like soccer, like you can't be angry with those big ass gloves and the different colored jersey.
Right? You look like Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. Yeah, what could you possibly be yelling at them for?
I think the interesting thing with Boston.
You're good. You got to go do your thing, but the grunting is fine. It's just white. It's white noise for the listeners.
Okay. Well, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I think the interesting thing with Boston is that like a few years ago they were the Cup favorite, like breaking NHL records, and
I remember that team.
they lost to a wild card Florida, and like it feels like ever since then, like they've been trying to find their identity, and them trying to find their identity just looks like stealing the identity that Florida has had in the playoffs by being like rough and tumble, just like really serious, like heavy hitters, trying to mix it up. So I think that like Boston is kind of in the end of their window to win a cup, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they're trying to do it is by emulating the way that they got beat, seemingly.
Okay, so. I like that. I feel like this sounds like a Punic War. You know, like Boston is the Spartans. They're the hard-headed, rough and tumble. Like we do it with brute strength. In Buffalo, they're the Athens. You know, they're a little like let's think about different ways to get Tage the puck here. You know, a little more cerebral.
I love that.
Yeah, I used almost zero information to come to that conclusion. Not a lot. I'm running out of wars.
I've only done World War II.
I'm not even allowed to do Civil War. I'm not allowed to, apparently. So.
Okay, let's keep moving because my timer is.
You're
ticking.
good. You're good. Keep it rolling.
So, Tampa Bay is actually kind of interesting. Number one, I think John. I don't know if I even want to say this. I don't like John Cooper, who is their coach.
Me neither.
I think he's a cool story. He started out coaching like his kids' hockey team, and he worked all the way up to the NHL, or like, and he didn't like know anything about hockey, which is cool.
That is inherently cool. I just didn't like him because you said you didn't like him.
What's not cool is in a preseason game earlier this year, they played Florida, and there were a bunch of fights. They played Florida again the next day. So what does John Cooper do? He calls a bunch of like no-name AHL like meat stick like goons to come in and just so they can fight the Florida Panthers, and like guys ended up getting injured, and it was just like ugly. And I think that's kind of a scumbag move.
I kind of like it. I kind of love it. It's like, oh, you guys want to fight?
Totally fine. And again, this is not for me to tell you what you should want.
No, you're a hockey purist. You have more respect for the game than I do.
Do with what they want.
Okay, fair.
So their goalie Andrei Vasilevsky has these crazy eyes that are like really big all the time. So he's kind of looks like a madman, which is kind of cool. What else do I have here? They have Corey Perry on their team, who has notoriously been on the losing side of the Stanley Cup Finals like 5 out of the last 6 times it's been played.
That's right.
Like he gets bops around to different teams and just continually loses. There was a time where he was on the Canadiens, they lost to the Lightning, and then he was on the Lightning and they lost to somebody else. I don't remember exactly what it was, but like
he lost as a star too.
Yes, he did.
To Tampa.
The best part about Tampa Bay is that they are playing the Montreal Canadiens, and when the Tampa Bay Lightning beat the Canadiens at home, all the crowd chants USA, USA.
Yes,
which is hilarious because did you lose me? I think
you're just frozen video wise. I can still hear you.
Okay, it's hilarious because I think that the Tampa Bay fans think that they're playing the Canadian team. Like they don't understand that it's like
I can see that
the country of Canada, which is
a lot awesome. I think Tampa Bay, of any sport, the Tampa Bay Lightning might have the most room temperature IQ fan base.
Yeah, dude.
A lot of 75s in there, high 60s, low 80s.
Yeah, man. Can we take a break? And I need, or
you're good,
or do you want me to wrap it up?
I mean, how many teams do we have left?
We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So, Montreal. We have just three.
Let's rip them real quick if you can.
Okay, we got Montreal, young core playing Tampa Bay. Like Montreal is kind of like an underdog. They have Cole Caulfield, who had a 51 goal season as a really young kid. I think he's probably like 23, 24 maybe. That's not easy to do. Their captain, Nick Suzuki, also a young guy. They just have a lot of young guys who are playing really well in the playoffs, which is not expected. The other, it's okay. I promise, we're almost done.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Then you have Carolina, who are kind of the stars of the East. Like, they're always the favorite in the East, but then they come across a very hot team. Brindamore, their coach, Rob Brindamore, it's kind of seems stuck in his ways, and that when they've lost to Florida a couple times, people are like, "Hey, why don't you just be more physical?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't want to play that kind of hockey." They play very structured hockey. They're kind of like, I would call them the British, in that they are red and they are rigid.
Okay, I love it.
And then last two, this is more of like a matchup type thing. So you have Pittsburgh and it's okay, I promise. We're almost done. We have Pittsburgh and Philly, which is an old school hockey matchup.
Yep.
The Pittsburgh was down 3-0. So Philly came into the postseason with a lot less playoff experience than Pittsburgh. I think 13 guys on their team are playoff first timers, and the Penguins have like old school cup winners everywhere, like Sidney Crosby, Chris Letang. It's probably the last run of Crosby, Letang, and Malkin, which is a hockey trio of like of legend.
I mean, for the past like 15 years, they've all been together.
Yes, and longer than that even.
Yeah.
So Philadelphia was up 3-0, and Dan Vladar was kind of their stabilizer in goal. And then Pittsburgh switched to their backup from Stuart Skinner from Edmonton to Artur Silovs, and then that kind of gave the Penguins life. And now it's kind of a story of like whose backup goalie survives longer.
Okay.
Which is really interesting. And they were down 3-0. Now it's 3-2. So.
Oh wow. Okay. So reverse sweep, maybe in the making here. But either way, I'm gonna let you go.
Sorry, dude.
You're good. You're good. You did great. You did fantastic.
Did I redeem myself?
You crushed it. You crushed it. Okay. You weren't. There was nothing even to redeem. So, all right, man. I'll catch you later. Just hop out of the meeting.
Okay.
All right. What a guy. What a guy. Well, folks, that was our NHL update. For any hockey fans out there, yes, Jay Dude, that was my brother. And for those of you who are just joining the pod, or you hate hockey and you fast forwarded, that was Goats on the move. He's touring, doing his stand-up comedy nonsense or whatever, his little thing that he does over there. He's in New York. Either way, he's crushing it. I'm happy for him, but he couldn't do the pod today, and I wanted to get something out for the week, so I called up my brother, who is an NHL fan. I know we've had both of my brothers on before to talk NHL, but old Michael wanted to redeem himself. He felt like he didn't do a great representation of his puck knowledge first time around. So he had a little something prepared, and that was awesome. I know probably not a ton of hockey fans on here, but I feel like everyone kind of wants to learn about hockey and stay somewhat up to date because it's such a fun, exciting sport that not a lot of people have had the opportunity to play. And a lot of people find themselves watching it being like, this is sick. This is crazy. I wish I knew what was going on. But either way, shout out Michael. That was great. I'm going to rip the rest of this thing solo dolo style. And we're going to start off with a little bit of NBA playoffs, man. I'm going to get the bracket pulled up here because it's been a fun playoffs. This has been one of those playoffs that kind of gives me, I guess, it gives me hope that parity in the NBA playoffs can come back. And J Dude said something about Dylan Harper and Steph Castle, so we'll start there. We'll start with the San Antonio Spurs beating the Trailblazers in Game 5 last night to win the series 4-1. First off, I gotta say this Trailblazers team surprised me. They went from like I don't even know if they're gonna get up out of the play-in to, oh my gosh, like this team looks competitive. When it was 1-1, when Wemby went out with the concussion, I was like, hey, Spurs fans, look over your shoulder a little bit because the Trailblazers are not going to go down easy. And they have my respect. Denny's a ball player, man. Denny is a downright ball player, and he played his balls off. And yes, iPad pups, there will be a VOD of this. This is just a pod. We just do it live just for funsies. But Spotify, YouTube, whole shebang. Either way, very, very impressed with what I saw from Portland. Golly, couldn't remember the name. But I think the biggest story out of this series to me is the Slash brothers, because Steph Castle and Dylan Harper are not going anywhere. And I don't think they're going to get worse either. I'm looking at the camera when I say this. Steph Castle and Dylan Harper are going to be a terror in the NBA for the next 10 years. Steph Castle is already very, very good. In my opinion, he's already an all-star. And I think he was this year. I could not be remembering that. But he's playing at an all-star level regardless. And Dylan Harper is up next. And I say he's up next because we haven't seen enough of him for him to be talked about in the way that I'm going to talk about him. But he's here. I think the only thing that we haven't seen on a consistent basis from Dylan Harper is off the dribble 3-point shooting. He does everything else at such a high level. And on top of those two young guys, they have 28-year-old De'Aaron Fox, who is the quickest point guard in the NBA, having like a renaissance season of sorts, having the type of year that you're like, okay, this isn't his best season in terms of scoring, but having him in that backcourt, like three-headed monster, he's perfect. Like if we're going to equate this to music, like I'd say Stephon Castle, and I've said this in a video, so if you've seen it, I'm sorry, but Steph Castle is like a punk rock, like heavy metal drummer. It's just violent. He's thrashing around. He's physical. He's throwing himself into you. And then I would say Dylan Harper is like a jazz drummer where he's got brushes. Just he can hit the cymbal every once in a while. He might punch on somebody, but it's smooth. It's like, whoa, didn't know he had that in the bag. Whoa, I didn't know something so simple could look so good. It's a tight handle. It's his bag of tricks, playing off 2 feet with high pickups, low pickups, getting to the rim. He can finish here, above his head, behind his head. He can punch on people. He does it all. De'Aaron Fox is like a De'Aaron Fox is like an electric guitar player that can hit the speediest little runs, just change up pace in an instant and just get to the rack at will. His mid-range game looks better than it ever has in his entire career to me. And he's shooting the 3-ball decently as well. It's been fun to watch them, and I dread the day that it's going to get old. I haven't even talked about Victor Wembanyama yet. I haven't even mentioned a word about him. Because I don't even have to say what he is. He changes the game immensely on both ends of the floor. He's going to be, he's an automatic double team at this point. Anyone trying to guard him one-on-one is an idiot. Like I hope the Spurs play the Timberwolves. I hope somehow Anthony Edwards gets healthy and we see a healthy Timberwolves team play against the Spurs, because they would get absolutely shredded on. Rudy Gobert could not guard Wemby. Wemby would completely take away the paint whenever he's on the floor. And I don't know if anyone's guarding Steph Castle, De'Aaron Fox, and Dylan Harper, and even the rest of the supporting cast. It's not like completely optimized, but it's good. I mean, Julian Champagnie can heat up in a second. Keldon Johnson is the sixth man of the year. Like, had a great season. Just does everything for them too. Harrison Barnes is not really bad at anything, So they're fun. They're interesting. And they're going on to the next round. Let's hop over to the other top team in the West, the Oklahoma City Thunder. They just manhandled the Suns. The Suns just didn't have enough firepower. I think we kind of all saw that coming. However, I thought the Suns would have a little more to throw at the Thunder defensively. And I'm not going to say it was all about officiating, but if the officials would have allowed for it to be a little bit more of a physical series, I think Phoenix could have taken a game, maybe 2 off of them, because that's what Phoenix wants to do. Is they want to be super physical. They want to play a more physical brand of basketball, and they weren't really allowed to do that. The Thunder were doing their best impression of taking jump shots and ripping their arms through guys and making it look real. And I know that's not their whole game plan, but when the game is called that way, it does really handicap what you can do defensively against a team as good as them. And that's what it comes down to. I'm really giving them credit in a way to say, hey, you guys are good enough to where like the only way that a team like Phoenix could beat y'all, even take a game off of you, is if the refs are allowing for it to be a little bit more of a physical series. Shea was incredible, especially in game 3, I believe. He like missed 3 shots the whole game. And then to close it out, he goes for 30. I mean, he's fantastic. He's the best scorer in the NBA right now. He could get a bucket in a phone booth. Dude's unreal. Phoenix, it was fun. I think Jordan Ott is a good coach. Any Suns fan who doesn't think or thinks that Ott's on his way out, I think you're going to be wrong. I think that you just need a little bit better of a surrounding team. You need a point guard on your team other than Colin Gillespie. Let's start there. But also Iguodaro's good. I even like Gillespie. I like him as a backup, which I know he came off the bench, but he was the only point guard on your team. But this isn't a bad, Suns roster. You're young. You got Jalen Green, who's intriguing. Devin Booker's getting a little long in the tooth, but he's still very good. I say a little long in the tooth. He's like 28, 29. If that. But you look around, I think this roster's solid. I think they're solid. I think you got something to build on here. Lick your wounds, go into the draft, see what you can get. Looking at the 4-5 matchup here, man, Lakers Rockets. I'm not surprised the Lakers are up 3-1. Even if KD was playing, I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers went up 3-1. Just because this Rockets team is so incredibly dysfunctional, dude. Like, I know KD's not there, but you still have Alperen Şengün on your team, like who is an offensive force in his own. And it just, I say this, I'm ashamed to say that I'm a Şengün fan because I love him. I love his game. And I feel like lately, this year more than any other year, we have seen so much just unethical basketball from Şengün. Like, I wish that the arc of like European guy comes to the league, he's unorthodox and he plays well and he kind of earns his keep. And then, okay, wow, this guy's really a force. And then the next step is this downward spiral of like, okay, he's still really good, but all he does is like complain and try to draw fouls. And half the time he's not even trying to put the ball in the hoop. He's just trying to move his body in the way that best sells to the official that I'm being fouled right now. It's lazy. It's not fun. It's not fun. And I don't even care if it's like a subjective thing. They need to start calling the flops. You need to start calling flops if you're an NBA official. It pisses me off. It pisses everyone off. But especially in the playoffs, I'm like, dude, I want to see basketball. I want to see guys playing the game. And I think that's the biggest gripe with Shea is that when the game is at the most important moment, Shea is trying to get to the line. At the end of the games I don't blame him because like, hey, if they're jumping and you want to jump into them and get a foul because that's what the rules say, then do it. But I don't blame Shea. I blame the league for allowing it to happen. Like, just create they did create the rule where, hey, if you jump into someone outside of your own cylinder and you jump into them to get a shooting foul, we're not calling it. They said that, and then they just stopped they started calling it again. So, I mean, I see it as like, it's their fault. It's the league's fault. And it ruins playoff basketball fairly often. This is why March Madness is the best tournament because guys don't do that in college. The refs aren't going to call that. They're not giving you that NBA jump into someone or the rip through when someone's hand checking you, whatever. You don't get that call. Very, very often you don't get that call. But Either ways, that's my old head unk rant about officiating and flopping. But it pisses me off. I wish they would just call it. They even gave it a hand signal, call the flop. But anyways, that series is done, especially if AR comes back. The Rockets are so dysfunctional. Kevin Durant's not a leader. Şengün's not a leader. They traded away Dylan Brooks, who felt like the heart and soul of that team. Van Fleet's hurt. He's a big leader there, and like they feel like they're dead. It feels like you did the thing where you traded all your young pieces to get the big name that you thought was going to take you to the next level, and you actually stayed at the same level, maybe took a step down to do that. It's pretty much what Phoenix did to get Kevin Durant too. But yeah, I'm kind of my taste buds on Kevin Durant are turning sour because everywhere he's gone since Brooklyn, it's been a disaster. And I know it's only been 2 places, but you have a pretty large sample size there. It's been 5-6 years, and you didn't win anything in Brooklyn either. You know, I think that if they did beat the Bucks in that series, they probably would have won an NBA championship. They were that good, but you didn't, and you didn't. No one cared to stick around long enough to see if they could run it back. So, whatever. Lakers in 5, by the way. I think is that tonight or is that tomorrow? Might be tomorrow. Nuggets Timbies. It's a real shame. I'm a big Nuggets guy in a sense of like, I like to see them win because they play prettier basketball. You know, Jokic has his moments where he falls into the European stereotype I just said, but for the most part, you get fun basketball in Denver, you know, 2-man game. Jamal Murray's a fun player. He's a playoff riser, as Connor would say. Obviously, Jokic is Jokic, but they haven't looked their best this year, and especially in these playoffs. I'll say this: I gotta eat my vegetables here and give Rudy Gobert his flowers because I've said a lot that Rudy Gobert is not a good one-on-one defender. His value comes from a team defense and a system. And I've gotten a lot of shit for that, but it's been true. I think it's just been true for a long time, maybe up until this moment. Maybe it's because I'm not grinding Rudy Gobert tape like I used to when I was trying to prove my point, and there was plenty of evidence, but Rudy's done a fantastic job on Nikola Jokic. And I think a big part of it, a huge part of it, is the fact that Jokic isn't shooting the three ball very well. So you can just kind of give that, and Rudy can just sit back and say, "Hey, Big Yoke, you want to score? Come over here. You know exactly where you got to go. I know where you got to go, and I'm not going to give it to you." But if Jokic starts hitting, I mean, if Jokic is shooting the three well, then it's over for everyone. He's impossible to guard if he can stand 28 feet away from the hoop and hit a shot. Then he's impossible to guard. You can't do anything. But either way, I think it's wraps here. I mean, if you haven't heard, if you've been living under a rock and you've been watching, which is fine. That's why I'm here. That's why you're listening to the pod, to get caught up. Anthony Edwards and Dante DiVincenzo both got hurt. Ant hyperextended his knee, and he's out for what I think is supposed to be weeks. And Dante DiVincenzo tore his Achilles, so he'll be out for over a year. And the Timberwolves looked like they were clicking. They had this villain aura about them, like in post-game pressers. Jaden McDaniel was saying, like, yeah, we just kind of go at whoever because none of them can guard. That was hard. But anything past that, I mean, I thought the Timberwolves, could the Timberwolves mix it up with the Spurs? No. So I'll probably be inconsequential ultimately, but you never know. I didn't think they'd mix it up with the Nuggets. I didn't think the Magic would be mixing it up with the Pistons. So who knows? But I think this Nuggets team just doesn't. They feel like a cheap imitation of what they used to be, and I think a big part of that is Peyton Watson being out. I think he's a huge part of filling in the cracks of where Aaron Gordon can't be on the floor. I think you have to have either one of those guys on the floor at all times in order to get the most out of Nikola Jokic. But when Jokic is in drop coverage and your weak side help that's supposed to bump over and show around the rim is Bruce Brown and Tim Hardaway Jr., you're probably going to give up a lot of points in the paint, and that's exactly what's been happening. But this series will most likely be inconsequential. I think we're on a fast track to Thunder Spurs in the Western Conference Final. But let's head over to the East here. Pistons Magic. It's on right now, actually, 19:15 as I'm talking about this on Prime Video, which, by the way, sucks. Can we get all of this, like, playoffs? I shouldn't have, if there's 2 games on at the same time, I shouldn't have to go from Prime to like YouTube TV or Peacock or whatever. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. I want it to be done. I think there's 2 ways it can go. Is we go back to the way things were, which feels impossible, or a mega corporation just owns everything. I'm kind of on the side at this point of mega corporation. So, because that'll probably just happen anyways. And at least I'll have everything in one spot. I hope YouTube TV is the one that wins. I hope they get enough money to buy everything and everything's on YouTube TV and they charge us a ton of money and we go back to pretty much cable, whatever. I don't care. Streaming services, I'm out. Yeah, Pistons Magic. Man, Detroit, I thought a little more of you. But if you listen to the last episode, Orlando Magic legend Terrence Ross said that this is a game that's kind of all about the matchup, and Orlando matches up really well with Detroit. Like they're really, really similar defensively. They're hard nosed, they're physical. They play 2 bigs, often they have like a beefy power forward, Wendell Carter Jr. or, beef stew, Isaiah Stewart. You have a big body centers, you got Goga Bitadze, Jalen Duren that are going to protect the rim. They got hard-nosed guards too. Like obviously Cade is tough. He guards. Even like Ron Holland, Asar Thompson. They're big, they're physical, but Orlando's just kind of matching them in every facet of that. And I think the biggest difference to me is that neither team is great offensively, but the Pistons are not great offensively and they're kind of one-dimensional. Like if Jalen Duren is not involved in the offense and he's not giving you production, then they're extremely one-dimensional. Orlando, it's like, hey, Paolo, you're not having a great game. Guess what? We got Franz Wagner and Desmond Bane. They have a 3-headed monster where any one of those guys could kind of do an offensive carry job and win them a game. And that's what matters. It feels like every series in this game has just felt like a grown man basketball game. Like high effort, high intensity, dudes just slamming into each other. And honestly, for that reason, we might see like the team who comes out of this just look beat up having to play Cleveland or Toronto. But man, Orlando's up 3-1. I can't remember the last time I saw an 8 seed beat a 1 seed. My brain goes to Dallas and Golden State in 2003, maybe? I don't know. I forget when that was. Baron Davis, Warriors. But yeah, I mean, it feels like this is Orlando's series to lose at this point, which is insane. I didn't even have them getting out of the play-in. I had Philly and Charlotte. And if I could have picked any of the 4 teams, I would have picked Miami and Charlotte, and neither of them are in the playoffs. So shows you what I know. But like I said, I feel like things have been pretty predictable in the playoffs for a long time. And we finally have some chaos. Like, when's the last time we had true chaos in the playoffs? And I know we don't have any deciding, like, yep, that was chaotic and we had a chaotic result. Like if Philly beats Boston or Orlando beats Detroit, but it feels that way right now. And I feel like it's been a long time since we had that a parity first round where it's like, who knows? Because usually the only series that are close are like 4-5, 3-6. And they're usually inconsequential because they're just going to lose to the 2 or the 1 seed. But it's fun. It's fun. I like it. I like it a lot. But yeah, Magic down 10 right now to the Pistons. But they got 3 games to win 1. So we'll see. We'll see if Detroit's going to dig deep, if they have it in them. Cleveland, Toronto. This has been a fun series. And I think that Cleveland has more staying power. It's 2-2, by the way. Game 5 is tomorrow, I believe. Is today the 20th? No, it's tonight. It's starting like right now. There we go. But I think Cleveland matches up against more teams well than Toronto does. I think Toronto is interesting because they don't play any point. They play 1 point guard and they pretty much don't play a center. I want to check this real quick. to back that up because I feel like you never see Jakob Poeltl out there. I've been watching so much freaking playoff basketball that it's hard to remember what I've seen. But I mean, Toronto's just the land of forwards. Poeltl plays 18 minutes a game. So I was right. But it's just literally their starting lineup is Brandon Ingram, RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes, Jakob Poeltl, and Jacoby Walter. That's 4 forwards in a center. And then and Poeltl doesn't even play big minutes. Colin Murray-Boyles plays more than him. He's a forward. Sandro Mamukelashvili is a forward. And that's pretty much their rotation. I guess Jameson Battle gets minutes. And Jamal Shed. I can't forget about Jamal Shed. Jamal Shed is the only point guard on the team. I mean, IQ started for them before he got hurt, but he's not even a true point guard. He's like a 2. He's a guard at least, but they have 1 point guard on the roster and 1 center on the roster, and then just forwards as far as the eye can see. And I've made a video making fun of this, but they saw the Memphis Grizzlies and thought, what if we just get a bunch of Santi Aldamas out there? What would happen? And we're seeing what would happen. They're a 5 seed in the East, and they're tied with the Cavs 2-2. The Cavs are interesting, and I've said this before, but they have that same Luka Kyrie backcourt energy where you got your ball dominant, pick and roll heavy point guard who wants to have his hands all over the offense whenever he's on the floor, and you have your tunnel vision 3-level scorer that's out there, can coexist with him, can carry the offense without him. But it feels better than anything Cleveland's ever had before. Like, if there was a year in Cleveland to get it done without LeBron, it feels like this is the year. And there's 2 lenses to kind of look at the James Harden thing. And the first one is a historic, broader lens of like anyone that's ever added James Harden to a team that feels like it's hit its proverbial playoff ceiling. It's never worked. It's never, ever worked. Adding James Harden to the equation has never led to the ultimate success, or really success in general. I mean, I guess Brooklyn is the only place where you could say that. And Brooklyn, he was playing with Kevin Durant and Kyrie. I think Donovan Mitchell might be the closest thing to Kyrie in terms of the type of production you get, how he gets his buckets, and kind of the way he's going to hurt you. Like, that's Donovan Mitchell might be the closest thing right now to Kyrie Irving. But either way, I guess the second lens is to zoom in and look at it from the standpoint of kind of what I just said. Like, hey, Dallas went to the finals with a high usage, heliocentric, ball dominant player and a tunnel vision scorer right next to him, and then a ton of just switchable wings around them, rim rolling bigs, and they went to the finals. And they're like, well, maybe we can do it too. I don't think that's the ideal way to build a team, but when you're in the NBA and you're running a team, you look at what you have and you say, okay, what's the best shot we can give ourselves? And Darius Garland wasn't giving them that. He doesn't play a ton of games. He gets hurt a lot. And James Harden doesn't miss games. He's 36. So they rolled the dice on the short term. Darius Garland's having a good year or had a good year in LA with the Clippers. And I think he's in a good situation. But either way, I like Cleveland in this series. I think Toronto's fun. If they won, I'd be excited for them. I think that either one of these teams could go to the Eastern Conference Finals. Truly, I do believe that. It's a fun series, and I think it will be consequential. Unlike the next series, after I take the sip of water. Great stuff. While I take that little brief break there, check out the chat. Hi, Far Dream Girl. Little solo dolo pod for the boy. J Dude asks, who's whiter, Kevin Huerter or Duncan Robinson? Kevin Huerter is a ginger. That's my answer. Who's better, Franz or Booker? That's actually a good question. They give you different things. I'd put them pretty even, honestly. That's just my genuine take. I'm not even trying to dodge the question. I just think they probably give you really, really similar production. I think Franz guards. Well, Book guards too. I think I might give the edge to Franz just because he's bigger. He can guard more positions, and he guards too. He's one of the better defenders on that team as far as their forwards go. But moving on, we got Knicks Hawks here. This is a very fun series that I feel like will ultimately be inconsequential, or at least that's what I've said until the recent goings-ons in the Boston-Philadelphia series. But either way, I don't feel like either one of these teams are like a finals contender. But man, the fact that this Sixers Celtics series is 3-2, my whole head is kind of spinning around like, okay, one truth that I've held to is that Boston is still very good. They still do a lot of the same things. I don't think they're the same team, but they're still they still win a lot of games. And they still look unbeatable in the regular season, but in the playoffs things tighten up. And teams start to realize your weaknesses. Maybe I'm just going to talk about Boston, Philly, and save Knicks Hawks for last because I'm on a roll right now, but Philly has realized that Boston's biggest weakness is their bigs. And it might have been their biggest weakness before when they had Al Horford and Porzingis, and it was just because everything else was so good. But now your big rotation looks like Neemias Queta, Nikola Vucevic, and Luka Garza. That's two guys who are borderline G League players, and another guy who is a good player and has proven he's a good player, but has been in his entire career notorious for being bad defensively, and he's also out of his prime. But genuinely, I think that if the Boston Celtics want to win, they need to play Nikola Vucevic 30 minutes. And I think that you have to say, we will live with whatever happens on defense. Our offense cannot work with Neemias Queta. It doesn't work. Like, if he's not setting a screen and rolling to the hoop, he is a liability. And Boston is not, like, that's not what they did when they're at their best. Their personnel is at its best 5 out. And 5 guys that can just get one domino to fall, and then the ball is popping around and you get the defense scrambling and you're getting a great look every single possession. Like, this Boston team is not the same offensively. They have good weapons still, but I mean, they're not even the same defensively. Like, you lose Drew Holiday, you lose Al Horford. Al Horford could guard like 1 through 5 when he was in Boston in 2024. I'm not saying that's your game plan to put Al Horford on a point guard, but if he gets switched, he'll be good for like 7 seconds, which is all you need your 5-man to do when he has to guard on the perimeter a little bit. And Neemias Queta can't do that. Neemias Queta is an elephant out there on the perimeter. He's a great rim protector when he can sit in the dunker spot. When Neemias Queta has to guard a Dem Bona, fantastic defender. Still gets killed in drop coverage. But regardless, Boston looks so mortal to me right now, and they've looked immortal a lot, even this year. Like, hey, it's still Boston. It's still a Missoula coach team, but they're bleeding right now. The Leonidas has seen the blood of the Persian emperor, God-man, whatever his name is. Was Leonidas the Spartan? I forget who the Persian was in 300, but either way, they look very human, and they haven't looked human for a while. So, man, I would love to see Philly pull this one out. I don't know if they will, but that's got my whole world turned upside down. But we'll finish with Knicks Hawks. I think a big part of why I see, because initially I said Knicks Hawks feels like the most important series, or the most entertaining series that will ultimately be inconsequential. This is like Lakers Rockets of the West, or of the East rather. But the Knicks strike me as a team that could go to the Eastern Conference Finals just because of how much Boston has struggled with Embiid, with having to have a big man guard another big that can score at 3 levels. That's a threat from the outside because Queta looks lost. Vucevic is barbecue chicken. Garza's kind of the same way. And that's what Cat is. I think Karl Anthony Towns is a better basketball player than Joel Embiid right now. And I don't think that's even like an argument to have. I just think that's Like if you don't believe in that, then you just simply haven't been watching lately. Embiid is a shell of himself, but he's still good enough to put stress on Boston's defense. Oh, that one had a little. Oh gosh, that one had a little liquid involved. But anyways, yeah, like I was saying, Cat is going to stress that Boston defense out way more than Joel Embiid is. And you got to guard guys in space. They got more like long wing defenders that are going to be capable of probably forcing more misses from guys like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and Peyton Pritchard, but they'll probably just go out Brunson. I mean, that's what everyone does against the Knicks until you can't. So it's just a battle of like, how can we hide Brunson? The Knicks have done a better job of hiding Brunson, at least last game. But either way, it's been a fun series. CJ McCollum obviously has been killing. Wasn't super active last game, and the Knicks are up 3-2 because of it. But, I mean, the Knicks scoring, by the way, if you haven't been watching the Knicks, then you're not going to understand this. Or if you really understand basketball, you'll get this too. But the Knicks have been scoring a lot running the flex offense, which is probably the most basic, robotic, rudimentary offense that you could possibly run, not just in the NBA, but in basketball. Like, if like an elementary, like older elementary school, like middle school team where like, yeah, they're capable of memorizing an offense and being able to play in like a system. If your team isn't very good, you just run the flex because you can get layups out of it and open shots. It's so robotic. It's just like a baseline. It's called a flex screen. I don't know how else to describe it than that, but it's like, shoulders parallel to the sideline, setting a screen on the baseline for the guy in the corner to go off of that towards the rim. And then the guy who set the flex screen comes off a pin down, and the ball is on the opposite wing. And then if you don't get it, you swing it and you go at it on the other side. And the Knicks have been running the flex and getting good looks out of it, getting a lot of like shots around in the restricted zone. And then the Hawks have adjusted because the weak side coverage, they just space them out. It's like, hey, if you sit there, the ball's on the opposite wing, you can just pass to the corner. Your weak side help cannot be that far over. So they just the Hawks started trying to help with the guy that's going to be coming off the pin down after he sets the flex screen, just like putting two on the guy at the rim until you can recover. And so the flex screen dude just didn't even come off the pin down; it just spaced to the corner and shot it. It was wild. It's cool to see a very basic offense being used in the NBA and them having success with it. But yeah, that's where we are at in the playoffs right now. I'll give some predictions here. I think that I'm going to go, obviously Thunder and the Spurs have moved on. I'm going to go Lakers go to the next round, Nuggets go to the next round. And then I'm going to take the Cavs. I'm going to take the Magic. Actually, I think they're going to beat Detroit in one of these next three games. So we'll have Cavs Magic there. I'm going to take the Knicks, and man, I might mess around and take the Sixers, dude. I want to. My heart wants to take the Sixers. Boston will probably pull this one out, but my heart wants to take the Sixers. I really do. Either way. And then going back to the West, obviously Thunder over Lakers, Spurs over Nuggets. I think that'll happen. It'll probably be a good series, but I think the Spurs will win. And then I think the Spurs will beat the Thunder. I got Spurs here. As far as the East goes, man, I could see the Cavs beating the Magic. And, if we do get Boston, New York, I might take the Knicks over the Celtics just based on what I've seen in this first series. I don't want to count out Mazzulla. I think Mazzulla is a great coach. I think he will try to figure something out, but it just feels like a personnel issue, and you're facing very similar personnel in the next round. Just like high usage pick and roll guard, and then a big man that can space out the floor, and that's a nightmare for Boston right now, or so it seems. So I'll probably go Knicks to the Eastern Conference Finals along with the Cavs. I have them beating Orlando, and then I think we might get a Cavs-Spurs Finals, and I'll pick the Spurs. But wow. Man, I was going to get into some NFL draft, but I think I'm going to wait for Connor on that. We're an hour and a half in for a Dolo pod. Shout out my brother as well for the NHL preview. I think we're going to wrap it up here. But for everyone that's been listening, you got a healthy dose of NHL hockey. You got a healthy dose of playoff talk between me, myself, and I, regurgitating a lot of the things I've just been saying on the internet in general. But yeah, thanks for listening. If you haven't already, if you're on YouTube, like the video, subscribe, leave a comment. Shout out the 2 dudes on YouTube that say like the goats have returned, or like my week is made, best moment of the week. Like, you guys rule. They comment on every YouTube video. So very appreciative of that. It's truly, it is the little things like that keep Connor and I doing this, and even keep me doing it right now when Connor's like, oh, I can't do it this week. He's got important things to do. And I'm like, do I want to do a solo pod? Like, does it sound like the most exciting thing in the world? No, I had to do a lot of prep, actually. Like, I prepped a whole section on the NFL draft, but I kind of want to save that for Connor, like I said. But I decided to do the solo pod because I'm like, man, I would feel bad if there are people who are genuinely looking forward to listening to our show and we just don't do one. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to rip it. I'll figure something out. And so that's what this episode is. But shout out all the listeners. Rate us 5 stars on Spotify. Send it to a friend and say this pod rules. If you want to send them the Terrence Ross episode, that's probably a good option. Big guest next week. If you're still listening, huge guest next week. And former NBA player. I'll just say that. And his name is not Terrence Ross. It's a different guy. I'm excited for it. You all should be too. I'll give you some hints. He played for the Miami Heat. He played for the Dallas Mavericks. Let me see. Who else did he play for? That might have given it away right there. If you're a true ball knower, that probably gave it away right there. But he played for Philly. He played for Boston. He played for the Spurs. He played for the Pelicans. He's a journeyman, but a really good player. Had a 10-year career. That's all you can ask for, man. But either way, thank you everyone for listening. Hey, literally wrapping it up.
I just wanted to say thank you. This is my thing. You invite me on the show and then I disappear for a while and then I come back.
Okay. I like it. I was literally probably 10 seconds away from hitting the end show button.
So
what do you got? I'm here for it.
Something that I wanted to say was, if I wasn't a hockey fan and I had to pick a series to watch the rest of these games.
Oh, this is good.
Because I just turned it on, is Tampa Bay and Montreal. There is so much hatred between these teams. Not historic. I don't think it's historical. Both very rough and tumble teams. The every single game is electric. There have been comebacks, and every game is seems to be a 1-goal game. It's awesome. So it's the game. It's tied 2-2.
Hell yeah!
First period just ended.
Well, I'm about to throw it on.
So
perfect. Yeah, that was good.
That's all.
That was
and
good.
I'm
glad you came back to say that.
Ending of.
Oh, dude, you're fine. You have a child. You have an 8-week-old child, and I hit you up last minute to say, "Hey, do you want to just do most of the show with me?" So that's perfect. That's perfect. I was genuinely kind of I won't say dreading. I was a little nervous about doing a solo pod for an hour and a half, and you got me through 45 minutes of it. So.
Oh yeah, brother.
Yeah. Either way, close out the show with me. For everyone listening, thank you so much for my esteemed guest. What should I call you? Should I just call you Michael?
Yeah, whatever, man.
Come on, give me some.
You guys called us the Dookie Brothers.
Oh, you from Dookie Brother, from the eldest Dookie Brother.
Yeah.
Great show. Come back next time. Like I said, big guest next episode. Another former NBA player. Exciting stuff. We out.